Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Card Advantage podcast. It is November 30th, 2021, recording at 9:20 p.m. I am Jeff, and I am joined by Bunk. What's going on, Bunk?
What's up, man? It's December tomorrow.
Yes,
Crazy.
yes, it is. 2021 is almost over. Yeah.
A lot of people view that as a good thing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like 2022 is going to be that much better. So, we got to keep fucking trudging along here with everything that's going on.
Well, with the baseball CBA expiring, I believe tomorrow, there's going to be a lockout starting tomorrow.
Yeah, that's all we need is.
Yet teams are spending $500 million on players, so can't be that much of a worry of no baseball.
No, you got to figure that they'll find a way to get it done. But yeah, we kind of suck to get to April and have no sports. I mean, I guess you have basketball for a couple months, but yeah, I'm not even a big baseball fan, but still want baseball around for fantasy and cards and whatever.
What we got going on tonight, sir?
We'll take care of a little podcast business as usual. First and foremost, if you have any questions for us or want to submit anything to the show, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. Follow us on social media, SportsCardADVTG on Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, that's about it. We are going to pick up where we left off last week, talking about state of the hobby. Things definitely continuing to get weaker across the board. Not seeing a ton of strength, and but I think overall, in general, you're seeing weakness across anything that people are investing in. The markets are weak. You saw some downturns in crypto. You saw some downturns in, a couple of other things. And, I think it's just the season, right now. It's the season. It's inflation. It's, still new variants coming out. There's just a ton of stuff where I think people are risk averse and, looking to buy gifts and do other things. But it does look like we're starting to get a little bit of a bottom coming in on the markets. I know you focus mainly on baseball. What are you seeing in some of the baseball stuff?
I think some of the higher end baseball is still holding strong. I mean, you want to get low numbered parallels of some of the bigger rookie cards of the current stars. They're still holding really good value.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing that across the board. Anything that's like pop 100 or less, or like really high end stuff that's selling for stuff where you can't just go on eBay and buy it. I think that stuff, just due to its rarity, will hold value for the most part. But anything that's a little bit more common that you can find in Discord groups, Facebook, eBay, whatever, that stuff is definitely down across the board and continuing to sink no matter what sport, what season.
Yeah, and you could probably speak to it a little better than I can, but football and basketball, the scarcer the card or the higher end stuff is still way under, from my understanding, of where it was, say, a year ago now.
Yeah, I mean, a year ago we were looking at 3 to 4x on some of these things. I mean, it's definitely weird. One example that jumps out is Joe Burrow, for example. Joe Burrow last year, anything that had the words Joe Burrow on it, it didn't matter what it was. I mean, those values were crazy, even though he got hurt for the last part of the season. His stuff was nuts. And now the Bengals are, what are they, 7-4? 8
playing well.
8-4, whatever it is. I mean, he's about to lead them to the playoffs, and his stuff, other than the really rare stuff that's selling for high high four figures and into the five figures, it's going down. Like his Prism Silvers, for example, are down 50 to 60%. And so there's definitely deals to be had if you watch and you really think that he's going to be the guy going forward. There's definitely opportunities in football and basketball right now. I mean, there are the superstar cards of stuff, in parallels that are somewhat common, but graded 9s or 10s. There's definitely deals out there.
And I think as far as football is concerned, with everything being down, I would focus, if you're looking for the quicker flip, I would focus on the teams that look like it's a slam dunk for a playoff. Slam dunk to make the playoffs and could potentially win a playoff game. And I think you're going to see a nice jump on a bunch of those pieces with the hype surrounding any kind of playoff team.
Yeah, I mean, at minimum, you're looking, for that kind of stuff. I think you're looking at a minimum of 6 weeks. As far as if you bought it tomorrow or Thursday when this comes out and you listen to us, if you buy it at the beginning of December, I think you're looking at 6 weeks. You have to get through Christmas, and then football playoffs don't start until January 15th. So I would have to say that you're probably best bet of selling, right around playoff time. So if you're going to buy stuff over the course of the next couple of weeks, you're going to be looking at a month hold before some of these prices start to bounce back.
Is that something you like to do, sir? Is a month too long for you?
I mean, the thing that concerns me is holding on to something when the market is going down. I like to be holding things when the market is going up so that I can, hold it and sell it for more. But it's always a risk, but you want to look at charts and trying to, buy stuff that's built a floor. So there's been, a pattern of 10, 15 sales on some of the more popular cards around the same low price. I'm okay with that, but I'm not going to be the one that buys something and then the card keeps going down. I want to see a couple of sales that get that happen around that, what I think maybe that bottom price, to show me that there is some sort of support or floor at that price before I get in. I'd even, for the purposes of, let's say, for example, you're looking at the PSA 9 Burrow Silver. The last one closed for $260. I want to see sales around $260. And, I'd even let it bounce back, see a couple sales at $300 before I got in, especially if that card was selling for $700, $800, $900 6 months ago. I'll forfeit that extra 30 or 40 bucks to show me that the market is going to hold at that like 250 to 300 level, and that if I get in there, that I have, I'm
that
fairly
you feel
safe.
Good that it's not going down further.
Exactly, that I'm right. Fairly safe.
So you didn't get in at the bottom, but you're willing to go a little above because now you feel real good that you're holding something that's only going to go up.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not trying to call, you never try to call tops and bottoms. You try to find levels of support and resistance so that you're buying and selling in the right places. And I mean, honestly, a Joe Burrow Silver PSA 9 at $260 is, we gotta be close to the bottom if it's not there yet.
What's do you know off the top of your head what the 9-10 ratio on that is?
I think the 10s are selling for in the 3,000. I think it's like 10x.
And what about on the pops though?
I don't know. I'll take a quick look.
Have you messed with at all those? Speaking to your point about trying to, if time's a concern and trying to manage and check out cards you're interested in. Have you messed with the alerts section on the Market Movers site yet?
I have not, but I would imagine those function like any other price alert on
like any other stock tool.
Yeah. So you set the price, and if it goes below that price, then it'll send you an email saying like, hey, this card just went below that price. So PSA 10 Burrow Silver's 91. Last sale was $2,925. and the PSA 9 pops 293, last sale 265. So it's about 10 to 1, which is pretty damn good.
Well, that ratio would favor a value of a 9.
That ratio would favor the value. Yes, it would. Because usually you're seeing like 5x on the 9s, and here you're seeing 10. I mean, because the raw silvers are going for. I mean, that's nuts, dude. There's a raw silver that went for $190. Granted, I don't know the condition of it, but a week ago, raw silver Burrow Prism went for $190. That's crazy. So there's definitely deals to be had on superstars. We're going to be talking about basketball here in a minute, and maybe we'll jump right in since we're in price analysis mode. But
do it up.
There are superstars to be had in this market. I put together a list of guys that you can pick up. I mean, PSA 9s right now. There's a lot of value here, especially if you think that players may be the future of the league type of thing. There's definitely a lot of value. So, for example, I have 2018 Prism Silver Trae Young PSA 9. Last sale was $250. Pops on this are starting to approach high at 2,100. But, I mean, Trae Young's having the best season of his career so far. 26 points. He's averaging 26 points and 9 assists right now. And, his silver PSA 9 selling for 25% of where Luka's is at. So I definitely feel that there's room here, and you don't even necessarily have to buy it now. Wait another couple of weeks. Keep your eye on the price. If the price stays around that 250, try to potentially find an auction that may be closing off, off time. You may be able to even get it less than 250. 2018 Trae, red, white, and blue, PSA 10. The pops on these are 1,300. Last sold for 250 to 300 are the last few sales. 2018 Trae Young Optic Hollow PSA 9 pop 336. Last sale on this was 187. Jason Tatum's in a little bit of a slump, but if you feel that he has a good future, I mean, now would be a great time. 2017 Tatum Optic Hollow PSA 9 went for 173, and then also some sales as low as 130 in the last 5 sales. The pops on that's 225. Devin Booker is another one. Raw Prism Silver Devin Booker's 350 to 450. Your base PSA 9. Less than $200, pop 1,100. Booker's in that category of pre-2017 before everything started to get graded, and so you have some low pops even on the base. So there's plenty of opportunity on Booker. And then last but not least, you have a 2009 Upper Deck Steph Curry PSA 9. Pop on that 744, last sold for 305. So you have guys that are guaranteed Hall of Famers like Curry, and guys that potentially or should be Hall of Famers like Trae Young, Devin Booker, potentially Tatum. But these are your superstars for the next 5. In the next 5 years, these are the guys that become the LeBrons of the league, and their PSA 9. Some of their flagship rookie cards you can get for less than $300. So I would keep an eye on prices as we go through December. More than likely, these prices should stay where they are for at least the next couple of weeks, so you can try to figure out and get the best deals possible if you're looking to purchase these. But I'd be looking to if you have the time and the cash and you want to hold them, you could definitely see some good returns. But all these guys, Hawks, Suns, Warriors, and probably Celtics, all should go to the playoffs. So if you want to hold it for a shorter term, there should be a bounce in the first half of 2022.
Yeah, I like those because I like where you have options of both the long and short term holds. Because you may run into a situation. I think you even spoke to it last week a bit. I got this. I want to keep it for a while. Well, I need cash. Oh, well, good. It's playoff time, so now I'm going to make a couple bucks on this card
Yeah, and
because I got in at a good price and didn't just buy it to buy it.
yeah, I mean, somebody like Devin Booker, the Suns are 17-3 right now. I mean, Booker is showing that he is going to be one of the guys that's, considered a superstar in this league. He already is a superstar, but, there's certain older guys that got to get out of the way before the spotlight is really going to be on, the Trays and, Devin Booker type guys. So, it's a possibility that these cards, especially the 2015 stuff, the print, the gem rates were lower. There's not a whole lot of sealed wax floating around, so it's not like the pops on those is going to go crazy. So the low pop Booker stuff is going to remain low pop Booker stuff.
We like low pop stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be more and more of a factor in people's buying decisions.
Well, and especially if you're holding long term and you have a situation where you need to sell, exactly what we talked about earlier. The scarcer something is, the better shot you're going to do well on it, no matter what time of the year it is, no matter what season it is of the sport, that you're holding.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in a scarce market, the person who owns the asset can dictate the price. So if it's something that's a pop, 85, and there's not a ton of them floating around on eBay and private sales and shows and stuff, you can dictate what you want for it. And eventually somebody, if they want the card that bad, will come up to your price and buy it. I mean, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but that's how some of these guys that are making content at shows, that's how they're getting paid. That's how they're making these quick flips. They're buying cards that, are golds and out of 10s and, pop 22s, and, they're finding they have a big enough following or audience or whatever that, or they know somebody's into a certain player, and they're negotiating down a little bit, and then they're able to sell it for that higher price because that person can't just go buy it themselves.
Well, right. Plus, if you take it to people, a lot of these, you got deep pockets, and you're a big time collector. One of the golden rules of that kind of collecting is if you've never seen it before, or you may never see it again, you better buy it then.
Yeah, and so that's why that market is strong. There's always guys that have money. Always, always, always. No matter where the economy is, there's always guys that have money, and if it's a scarce item, then the market will be strong because somebody's always going to need cash, and somebody always has it, and you'll get your price. But if there's a pop 5,022, then they're all over the place, and you can go get one whenever you want.
Right, and you won't see as big a fluctuation.
Correct. I mean, that's more of a truer market because there's more volume, there's more trading, there's more selling volume, buying and selling volume. That's more of a reflection of what people are willing to pay versus one guy every 4 months, when something comes up.
Right.
Yeah, so that's about all we have for the state of the hobby. I think we are going to remain in this soft space for the next 6 weeks, and then
spring training, sir.
I mean,
as he rolls his eyes at me.
I think it's more once we get past Christmas season and once we get an idea of the state of the economy. I mean, for the hobby, the sports card market, the business of sports cards, we're in uncharted territory. We don't have years of this boom, type of thing. And we, pre-2019 ish, the hobby was worth a 10th, a 20th of where it is now. So we're in uncharted territory. We don't know where things are going to go. Everybody's like, well, last year in January, prices started to climb. It's like, well, last year in January, we were in the middle of a freaking pandemic, and everybody was in their house. We're not there this year, hopefully, provided Omicron doesn't shut the world down. So if that's not the case, then we're in a situation we've never been in before, so we don't know where things are going to go. The speculation is we should see some strength, but we're not going to see what we saw last January.
No, you can't expect to either.
Yeah, I mean the shine and the opportunity to make 5 and 10x, that's off. That's gone. Will there be opportunities to do that in certain cases? Yes, but at the same time, that novelty of, oh, I'm just going to go buy this card and wait 2 weeks and it'll be up, 50% and I can sell it. I think those days are over. I think the bubble of COVID and sports card boom and stuff was just that, and now I think we're going to get into more seasonality and cyclical patterns, and money's going to flow from different alternative investments. Sports card being one, crypto being one, traditional financial investments being one, and people's money's going to go different places where they feel they can make the highest returns. And
yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with going back to normal seasonality of things because I'm better able to predict that than I can coming off last year.
Yeah, and we're gonna see what it's all about. I think that in 2022 is going to be a real indication of how this hobby may be. The more true sense of how this hobby is going to go. Now that there isn't an ATM machine with everything you do in the hobby, I think then it's going to shake some people out, and you're really going to see what's going to happen. And then also, you never know if crypto corrects and crypto prices drop 50%. You could see that money come back into sports cards. So it's going to be interesting, 2022.
Yeah, and then that's why your point earlier is very important and useful, because if I have $1,000 card last April, I can't expect it to be $1,000 this April.
No.
But what I can do is do the research and the homework and establish that, okay, I feel pretty good that this is where the card is on the low end side. So if it goes up, say it's at $100, and maybe I get 400 or 500 on it instead of buying at 3 or 4 expecting 1,000. It's established itself at 100, and I can still do well on it because I did the work on it.
Yeah, and that is exactly the key statement there is doing the work. And I think in order to make money in this hobby coming up and going forward, it's not going to be as easy as it's been, and you're actually going to have to put some effort in.
Well, good. I think that's a good thing because it's going to weed out some bad apples.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some bad apples, as there is in everything. I mean, geez, you want to talk about bad apples? Go anywhere near NFT and crypto and Discord, and oh my God.
I thought you were going to say Twitter.
No. Anyway, moving right along. I mean, that's the other thing too. Speaking of NFTs, that I think you'll see a lot more of coming up in sports cards. I know that the NFL's dropping some NFTs pretty soon. And Fanatics has their own NFT company. So those are also here to stay, and it's just going to be a question of what actually is going to retain value.
How can you even predict that with that kind of?
It's gonna be just like anything else. It's gonna be supply and demand, and so like for example, CryptoPunks, Bored Ape Yacht Club, those are big NFT projects, and the reason why they're so popular and so expensive is because they're viewed as clout, and it's a status symbol, and you can put it in your avatar, and there's only 10,000 of them. So in order to get one, not a lot of people are looking to dump them. So they come up for sale very infrequently, and it's a big status symbol. And there's also things tied to them as far as invites to networking things and elite type of gatherings, and it's a club. And so that's the thing. So it's just going to be a question of, is it just a 10-second highlight, or if you have a gold highlight for the NFL, is that going to get you anything other than that?
And get me tickets to a game once a year.
Yeah, or anybody that is holding gold highlights gets entered into a chance to win Super Bowl tickets as long as you're holding a gold highlight. Or, what else are they going to do to make those things continue to hold value? Because that was the thing with Top Shot, is you couldn't do shit with these other than the fact that you got a 10-second highlight, but there's nothing else to it.
Is that still going on?
Yeah, Top Shot still exists.
But I was serious, actually. I had no idea.
I mean, that's the thing, like the MLB cards that came out, and those also had that quick rush, and everybody, gotta get it, and then the value just crashes. And the same Top Shot, it just took longer for the value to crash. But with some of the more successful NFT projects, there's some sort of additional value or clout or bragging rights or something that goes with it. It's not just a JPEG. Everybody's like, oh, it's just a JPEG. Well, it's not, because having one of those gets you indoors. Like if you
it's a membership card. Is what it becomes.
Basically. Like,
all right. Well, I've actually, this is helpful because now I understand this way better.
Yeah. So, for example, Bored Ape Yacht Club is an actual club. There's 10,000 of them. You get if you own one, it's a membership. They have gatherings. And usually the people that are at these gatherings are rich-ass motherfuckers, and it's a bunch of these people getting together. I mean, that's why you're seeing celebrities and athletes and very established business people that are buying these, because they set up gatherings with the people that own it, and your entry is your NFT.
I'm gonna get one. I'm gonna put the Goofy image on a T-shirt. That's what I'm gonna wear.
Yeah, well, that's great, but unless you have some sort of clout or purpose or, some reason why people want to own it.
Well, I don't need it. If I own it, I'm showing up to all these things, right?
If you own what? A shirt with a Goofy picture on it?
Yeah, whatever I buy.
Yes, if you own it, if you can afford, the $500,000 for some of these.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Dude, some of these are going for 7 figures.
That's crazy.
Well, if you look at it in that, if you spend the money and you get introduced to some of the right people, that could lead you to multi-million-dollar deals or sponsorships or endorsement or whatever it is. It's worth the money.
Well, yeah, and then if you got ones like that, as high as they are, it should help, you would think, for a time, elevate some of the newer ones coming out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like Jay-Z, for example, bought a CryptoPunk probably 6 months ago. Not 6 weeks ago, and he found one of them that looked like him, and he spent a truck ton of money on it, and then it became his Twitter avatar, and that gives more clout to CryptoPunks, and more people want them.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what they do with the sports card NFT space and see if they can do some innovative stuff with it. If they can do some innovative stuff with it, like, gets you real autographs or gets you tickets to whatever, or gets you into drawings,
tie it to boxes, tie it to breaks, tie it to anything.
Tie it to, like, anybody that has this gold out of 50 card will get a chance to meet the person on the, on the card, or, whatever it may be, something that gives it value, not just a highlight.
Cool.
Let's see. You want to talk PSA first, or you want to talk? Yeah, let's talk PSA real quick, and then we'll get into your off-season guide to baseball. So Nat Turner from Collector's Universe has been hinting over the last, month or so in various vague Instagram posts and interviews that regular submissions for PSA is coming back. It has been confirmed that sometime this week And it's always been the speculation that December, early December, December 1st, that this was going to happen. I mean, those rumors have been swirling for months, and it's been confirmed that sometime this week, regular submissions will be coming back on a limited availability. The thought is, I believe, that they're going to do this like a queue similar to HGA. Is that correct?
I've heard that in more than one place. I mean, it's probably the best way to limit fairly how many you're going to let through the doors once you drop the price.
Yeah, and nobody knows what that price drop is going to be. The speculation is it's going to be $100, and nobody knows what the queue system is going to be. But more than likely, it's probably going to be some sort of random lottery like HGA and Top Shot did.
And I think, do you think they'll tie in either A, for declared value, or a total number of card minimum you need to submit? Like, are they going to just take one card submissions, or
I hope so. I mean, because there's definitely stuff that I would like to submit, and I would definitely get online and hope to get into the lottery. If it's at $100, I mean, $100 for me it's flirting with all the other grading companies disappear. To be honest, I mean, you're talking about $70 difference between this and SGC, and and HGA for that matter. Is the $70 really going to make that much of a difference? And am I not going to make that back in value? So we're talking about PSA being probably the most lenient of all those grading companies and has the most value. So the $70 difference to me,
it's crazy. And that's why you have all these people. If you step back from all this, you have a strong argument that all grading is sketchy. Like, you can actually make the argument it's the worst thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, all grading is subject to human being on the other end.
Well, that's exactly it. It's too subjective, and the grades aren't universal.
Yeah, I mean, if there was one grading machine or one software that everybody used, and you could send it in, then it's universal. And I know that this card will grade the same 9 at PSA, SGC, BGS, HGA, and then it just comes down to a matter of the case. But I could hand one card.
Patents now.
I could hand one card to 10 people and probably get 2 to 3 different grades, especially if you have half grades.
Absolutely.
I mean, you'd like to think if I handed that one card to 10 PSA graders, that if it's going to be a 9 or a 10, that's all it would be.
Look at the cards we were just looking at. I was like, the centering's not too bad on this one. And you look at it, and you're like, what are you talking about? This sucks. or like, I'll look at an edge, I'm like, that edge is fine. And you're like, no. And vice versa.
Yeah.
It's just so subjective.
Yep. And that's the whole thing as far as where the standards are and whatever. But for me, as the PSA prices come down, I won't even, right now we have, I don't know what, 8 or 10 cards that we purchased raw, and we're looking, trying to figure out what to do. A couple of lower end things. I mean, once that PSA price gets down below 100, I won't even look anywhere else. Everything will go to PSA.
It won't even be a conversation for what we're doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I don't think the drop to 100, I still think your SGCs and your HGAs and your CSGs are all still going to get pumped.
Yeah, and
I don't think 100's enough to drop their volume down.
I think also people are, we're heavily scorned by PSA, and they still have stuff that's sitting there, so it's been there for a year, and they're like, fuck PSA. So I think that's definitely what some people's attitude is. They went from PSA's the best to PSA's the worst, and will only submit to SGC or HGA or BGS or whatever it may be.
Just because of the turnaround?
Yeah. Well, people
from last year.
People also think that the turnaround for new submissions to PSA is still months. Like 6 months. It's like, dude, if you pay the $150, you're getting it back in less than 3 weeks. So
as you said that, I went and just checked our latest sub, and we're already in assembly. So the cards have been graded, sir.
Ooh.
We won't get the grades for another day or so. But they just got it last week. And it'll be on its way to us in less than a week.
But did they email us and tell us that they wanted more money?
No. That they didn't submit the grades. They do. PSA does 2 levels of so they grade it and then they do a regrade or a double checking or to certify the grade.
And that's when if
I
it
don't know if yeah. So that's a later step in the process. That's like step 6. They regrade for accuracy, I believe is what they label it on the site.
so to provide some color to everybody, we submitted a 2017 Mahomes Prism silver, and the PSA 9 would fall in the threshold of the price that, the original price. If it gets a 10, it's above their threshold where you have to pay the higher fee. So we're hoping to get that email that says you need to pay us another $100, or what is it, 150?
Yeah, well, that happened to us the first card we ever graded, the Optic Hollow Mahomes.
Yeah.
We got that email saying, "Hey, send us more money."
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
So yeah, what we're
I didn't
hoping
understand
for
it.
is to get that email that says, you have to send us another $150 because the
And
card
what it
is.
is the declared value
Yeah.
becomes higher than I think 4,999.
Yeah, correct. So the declared value on the Mahomes Prism 10 would be $7,000. So that's what we're hoping for. We bought the card raw for $765, I believe. So if this thing comes back at 10, obviously it's a home run. Even if it comes back at 9, we'll still make some money on it.
That's the name of the game.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, we'll wait to see what the formal announcement is from PSA. I'm sure it'll come out sometime in the next couple of days, and every single sports card Instagram, Twitter thing that you follow will all publish it and post it to let everybody know. So yeah, let's move on to Bunk's off-season guide to baseball. Today we're going to be talking about some of the massive contracts that got signed, and whether or not there's any impact on the hobby and any cards that we care about.
Yeah, I mean, for each of the 5 guys I'm going to talk about, I'll drop like their key cards. What their first Bowman is, what their first top is in the year. I'm not going to go into dollar cents with you on every single card, but just talk some generalizations on what it might mean for them, short and long term for that matter. Where do you want to start, guy?
This is Bunk's guide to off-season baseball. So Bunk
All right,
has to be doing the
in no
talking.
particular order. I picked 5 of the recent signings in no particular order. And as much as I dislike the Mets, they've got 2 guys here. So let's start with Starling Marte going to the Mets. Much needed center fielder. He's 33 years old. He is a career 290 hitter. He's got a couple Gold Gloves. He's going to steal his 300th base as a Met. But this is nothing I'm getting excited over in terms of hobby impact. He's got a 2011 Bowman Chrome Auto, and obviously those are his earliest cards with Bowman. His first Topps rookie card logo is in the 2012 update set. But his career numbers are not.
He can't have that much hobby relevance. He's not in Card Ladder or Market Movers.
No. So is he going to get a little New York bump? Especially with what the Mets are building and they're going to go. I mean, potentially, but for me, and I've said this a million times, the second I look at his age, he's 33, and he's nowhere near going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't put any value. I don't even think there's worth picking up anything raw here and hoping for a few bucks on it, in the spring or in playoff time.
Okay.
But something really cool, guys are looking into prospects and like early major leaguers, and they want to get an idea. If you haven't been to baseballreference.com, you need to go there. There's some crazy endless data there. But one of the things I really love is they do like this probable Hall of Fame statistics. So they rank all their current stats, and they tell you their likelihood of Hall of Famer or how close they are to the average Hall of Famer based on current career stats. So that's really cool. So obviously Starling Marte is not even on the list. Let's move on. Let's go to the Rangers. Texas Rangers make a huge splash, signing, what did they spend? $500 million on Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. Also, I mean, Marcus Semien, I'm not getting too excited about. His first cards are in 2014. Both Bowman and Topps are. So his first Bowman and his rookie card logo are the same year, 2014. So he's got Topps and Topps Chrome, Bowman and Bowman Chrome. He has autos in Bowman Inception, National Treasures, and Gypsy Queen. But he's 31 years old. He's not on a Hall of Fame path. I know he hit 45 home runs last year. He's a 250 career hitter. He only has 160 career home runs. So unless you're telling me he's going to go on a 5-6 year run of hitting 40 plus home runs, I mean, I certainly don't see much in long or short upside on any of his cards.
Yeah, the 2014 Bowman Chrome PSA 10. There's been 2 sales in the last 180 days of $100 and 140.
Yeah, and I personally, I think that's even too high. And I mean, listen, the Rangers, even spending $500 million, are nowhere near making the playoffs. So even if you're going to tell me, oh, I'm just going to hold semi until the playoffs, well, you're going to hold for another few years because presumably they're going to keep making some splashes here, but they're not ready to make the playoffs next year, or maybe even the year after that. So there's no short term flip on a 31-year-old Marcus Semien. Corey Seager, on the other hand, full transparency, I'm a little bitter. I had a massive rookie card gold auto of his that I sold when I shouldn't have. So I'm a little bitter about that because I could have done way better now. But anyway, Corey Seager, he'll be 28 at the start of the season, career 300 hitter, but he only has 104 career home runs, so he doesn't check that box for you in hitting dingers. He's got as early as, because he was drafted out of high school, so he's got an early Bowman Chrome from 2010, but they used to do this USA auto thing. So he's got a 2010 Bowman Chrome auto. Those are cheap. The nice thing about those are they don't have a major league team on them. So if now you're a Corey Seager fan, but you're also a Dodger fan, or you want to be a Corey Seager fan, and just like the Rangers, you can go and pick up something like neutral, like his USA auto. Otherwise, you'll find him. His first Bowman Chrome as a Dodger is in 2012 Bowman Chrome draft, and his first rookie card logos are 2016 with Topps Chrome.
Just hopping in, the last sale of the 2010 Bowman Chrome draft prospect, Bowman Chrome prospects, went for $30 basically about a week ago. So yeah, those are definitely cheap. There's low pops, but they're definitely selling for cheap.
Yeah, they're super affordable. You'll see bigger jumps once you get into that 2012 Bowman draft auto. And that's early enough. Now, this is, back when I was looking, I didn't grade, but when I was looking to, you'll actually find with that 2012 Seager auto, you'll see that there's literally none graded by PSA and hundreds graded by PGS, which is pretty funny. I think the 2012 Bowman Chrome auto might have a pop of like 20 on the 9s or something like
that. PSA 10 pop 54. Yep. Last sale of that was
pretty big.
September 1st for $1,200. The last sale of the raw October went for $149.
Yeah, and the 9s I think are in the 225, 250 range. But his bigger ones, he just had 2 2016 Topps Chrome Gold autos, PSA 10s, go for $1,500. I think now I didn't click on both, and they were so close together. It's probably the same sale twice from a non-paying bidder. But either way, one of them sold for $1,500 recently. Again, for me, the Rangers aren't gonna win yet. I know he's 28. His career numbers, I mean, yeah, he's 297. He's 104 home runs. He's not a big home run hitter. So I don't know what other metrics this guy's going to have to do long term to be considered a Hall of Fame. He's going to have to go on a heck of a run for 15 years from now. I care about my Corey Seager auto PSA 10.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to spend $1,200 on the PSA 10, Corey Seager probably not the move.
No, not at all. So I mean, the guy you'll spend the $1,200 is coming up here in a minute. But yeah, so again, both short and long term. Corey Seager, I think, of the group we're going to mention, probably is the best of the short term options because people still think they really like him. And listen, you hit 300, I love you in this era of baseball where the league average is 220. So I can't be mad at that. Where are we going here before we get to the big one? Oh, Javi Baez. Yeah, please, someone email me if you think Javi Baez is good. I don't think he's good. This guy's not good, but he got paid like he's awesome.
Or just
anyway,
email him if you've heard of Javi Baez.
Javier Baez. You don't know who Javier Baez is?
I mean, I've heard the name, but
you've heard his bat missing baseballs a lot. You've definitely heard that. Guy's going to pass 1,000 career strikeouts this year. He's got a 307 career on base percentage. He's 29 tomorrow. He only has 149 career home runs, and he's going to the Tigers.
And
Now,
how much did
good
they
news
pay
about
him?
going to the Tigers. What's that?
How much did they pay him?
A lot. I don't know the exact number.
I mean, yeah, he's
It's over 200 million, wasn't it?
I don't know. This is your segment once again, sir.
People don't care about money that the contracts are. But anyways, first Bowman, you can find him in 2011 Bowman draft, and then his first rookie card logo, Topps Chrome. He has the non-autos, and you can get the autos in 2015 Topps Chrome. They're also relatively affordable too. The only chance here with him still being 29, and he's going to the Comerica. That park's huge, not exactly a hitter's ballpark there. The only good news for short-term flip is if you read a lot about the Tigers farm system, and again, prospects are prospects, I get it, but the Tigers have a chance to be really, really good coming up here in the next 3 to 5 years with the people they've coming through the farm. So, and they're showing, management showing they're going to spend some money and bring in a couple players to mix with some of their absolute studs. It seems like they have on the horizon. Tigers could be really, really good, and if they're dominating, maybe Javi Baez gets a little bit of a short-term bump on some of his rookie card stuff. But for me, these are 4 guys in a row. I'm not crazy on long term.
And Javi Baez, Bowman draft prospect Chrome, PSA 10 last sale 119, and the auto last sale was 470.
Yeah, again, I mean that's still pretty high for me with his career numbers. I'm not spending $400 with someone who's got a 30% on base percentage, only 149 career home runs, and has 1,000 strikeouts under his belt, and a 250 hitter. I mean, it's pretty average.
Yeah, it seems he got a lot of money for being a mediocre baseball player.
I mean, yeah, again, what are you paying him for? Is he a gold? I think he won the Gold Glove once. Okay. I don't know. I mean,
he had 31 home runs last year between the Mets and the Cubs.
Yeah, he strikes out a ton. Doesn't hit for a great average. I mean, I guess 250. We're saying okay, that's acceptable for 30 home runs, but again, he's another guy. Unless he's going to go on this run, because some people, there's a lot of debate on the science on when someone's physical prime. So if you're a believer that physical prime is between 28 and 32, well, now's his time to shine, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, 18, he was all-star, second in MVP votes. 19,
that was it that year.
He was an all-star. 20, he won Gold Glove. 2021, he hit 31 home runs. He also struck out 184 times, which I think led the league. But I mean,
yeah, and he's got the Mets fans hate him now with the whole thumbs down and booing nonsense, and I don't know. He's just not a likable guy for me.
Alrighty,
the numbers just aren't there for me to hold that thing till the end of his career.
So
now, if you're going to spend money on anything, and we've spoken about that before, is if you're going to invest in pitchers who are slam dunk Hall of Famers when you can get a good deal on them, and that is Max Scherzer. So he's another one. You're going to see his first Bowman and rookie card logo in the same year. So you're looking at 2008 Topps Update. He also has an Update Chrome card. And then 2008 Bowman Draft. You'll have the paper and Chrome there. Now, he doesn't have autos in either of those. But you can find autos in Upper Deck had them all. So I don't know if they had exclusive rights to them, but you can find them in Sweet Spot and SPX. Oh, actually, you know what? There is a Stadium Club. Top Stadium Club, there is a Max Scherzer auto as well, but just not in the flagship.
So his Topps Chrome Update, there's a pop of 20. There's only been one sale in the last 6 months, and that was for $1,800.
Yeah, the Chromes, so that year is interesting. So the Chromes from that year, they all look like refractors. They're not listed as refractors, but they have that silver, that shiny glare to them. So everyone writes in the eBay listings, refractor. If you look at Beckett.com or the checklist, they're not refractors, but they all look that way. So there is no base and a refractor. It's just that card.
Wow, even the non-chrome, his PSA 10s are going for some bucks.
Oh yeah, I mean PSA 10s must be $600-700.
Last sale $580, and that was 2 days ago.
Yep.
And that's during the season they were selling for 800.
I think his last PSA 9 of
$800.
that yeah, and I think the last PSA 9 of that update was like about $120.
Yeah. PSA 9. Yeah, PSA 9s are cheap. 177 last sale, PSA 9.
Wow, okay. What do you got the pop on the 9 at?
667.
Yeah, great. So that's exactly. I mean, that's perfect. So that's probably, if I want a Max Scherzer card to hold, I'm probably going to look at that update 9 for my budget, because it's under $200, super low pop, and he's a slam dunk. He's a slam dunk Hall of Famer. He's gonna. Speaking of, I spoke last week or the week before about seeing milestones coming up. He just passed 3,000 Ks, so he's going to be building on that. I think the next one coming up on the list might be Sabathia on the all-time strikeout list. And then on the active player wins list, he's going to be presumably by the end of the year, he should pass John Lester, and he'll be the highest win leader of active major league pitchers. So he'll surpass 200 wins this year. And I know he's 37, but I don't think you're going to see many 250 win pitchers ever again.
Yeah, so Scherzer is coming up on Smoltz, Sabathia, Kurt Schilling, Bob Gibson. He's at 30-20.
Yeah.
How many strikeouts do these guys usually have in a season?
He's probably at 250.
So theoretically, he could move into 12th place if he has a decent season. He could pass Fergie Jenkins, Pedro, Bob Gibson, Kurt Schilling, CC Sabathia, and Smoltz. They're all within 200 strikeouts of where he is now.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. He signed a 3-year deal, so presumably we're assuming he's going to be healthy for those 3 years. He's coming off, and people are complaining about his age because, again, I'm in New York sports talk radio territory, driving my long commute to work. Everyone's complaining. The guy had his lowest ERA of his career last year at 36 years old. So there's no reason to worry about Scherzer yet.
Yeah, and the crazy part about his strikeouts is he's going to do it in 3 to 4 seasons less than most of these guys. Top 10 guys for strikeouts all pitched more than 20 seasons. Scherzer will not hit 20 seasons in his career. And
because he was a little bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah, if he pitches 2 more seasons, he'll be in the top 10, and he'll have done it in 4 seasons less than the rest of these guys.
Yeah, and he could blow his arm out tomorrow. He's going to the Hall of Fame. So yeah, that's just fact of the matter. And if I'm going to spend, we talked about that 1,200 on Corey Seager, I can get myself a couple nice Scherzers that are going to hold much more value than any of those other 4 guys we mentioned.
Yeah, I mean Verlander's in this conversation too. He's 7 strikeouts.
100%.
He's 7 strikeouts behind Scherzer right now, and he'll play for another season or 2. So both of these guys have the opportunity to be in that top 10 strikeout leaders of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And Verlander stuff is almost untouchable. If you look at some of his Verlander, if you're looking it up, 2005 Bowman Chrome is his card, and you can't even touch the autographs. It's insane.
Is he still with Kate Upton? That's the only thing I care about.
Yes, he is. So that's why the value's so high.
It's a Bunk all-time favorite. So if anybody finds a Kate Upton card, send it our way.
Nah, she was in Allen and Ginter one year, I think, or Ginter, depending on who you talk to.
Is that her rookie card?
I don't know. She's in a red dress. That's all I remember.
First auto, Verlander.
Yeah, he's got a 2005 tops in it, but his Bowman Chrome's the one I'm thinking about.
These aren't bad. Bowman Chrome first auto, last sale 1,500. It's not terrible.
That's bad for me.
Yeah, of course it's bad for you, but as far as in the grand scheme of things, it's not awful.
No, but I need his refractor auto to complete the 2005 refractor set, so I'm pretty pissed I didn't buy it when it was $300, and I was whining about the price then. So that point I made more than once about you see something and you need it for a set, you should just pony up for it.
Oh, speaking of sets, we got a total of 0 emails on people.
I got let down.
On people and and their sets. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, a few weeks ago we laid down the gauntlet challenge of, if you collect sets, send us an email and prove. Last week, send us an email and show us that you are a set collector with some sort of proof, and we will enter you to win some sort of nice card. And
so people are still preparing their pictures.
We got,
and just to be clear, it's
0.
Any set. It doesn't have to be a graded registry set. Any set.
Send me fucking cards fanned out on a table. I don't care. It's just be like, I collect. Just put in the subject line, I collect sets, and fan out a few cards that may be from the same set, and then we'll have a discussion, because you are all about this whole like everybody in the hobby collects sets, and I'm just like, dude, no, they don't.
Not everybody, but more people than you think do. That's all.
Well, obviously, none of our listeners,
the majority of people listening are just looking to flip stuff.
Either A, none of our listeners give a shit enough to send us an email, or B, they don't collect sets, because we got not even one. There wasn't even because if we would have gotten one, I'd have been like, all right, let's give that guy something. I don't care what it was. Amazon gift card.
Now you're gonna get emails just cause
eBay, whatever it is.
So
but
now it's just fugazi. Like now it's got to be like a big time set.
We got 0.
I'm just promoting the profession of collecting.
Yes. Anyway, let's see.
Yeah, where were you dropping next?
I think we're coming up on the end here. There's one other thing I wanted to talk about real quick that we were talking about in Discord today, and shameless plug on that. Discord is, if you want to join the Sports Card Advantage Discord, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. We'll send you an invite. So yeah, there was a conversation. Somebody in Discord was talking about, shout out actually to James, talking about buying like really low grade stuff that has 3 good grades and then 1 bad, and then trying to resubmit it and get it to a higher grade. And I think
I can't believe I missed all this.
Well, maybe if you read the Discord, then you would.
Dude, I've got to leave Discords. I am in so many Discords, you can't keep up with it all. So yeah, go ahead and talk about the subgrades. I'd love to have this conversation, and I'll fire it up in the room after we're done here.
Yeah. So he basically he bought for example, there was a LeBron card that had 2 8s, a 9, and the surface was really really bad, and then so the card got an overall grade of 3.5, and it's is there an opportunity to potentially have these regraded, try to get higher grades, and then make some money, crack them and resubmit them. So, I mean, if you're going to be able to clean, quote unquote, clean anything up or make it better, surface is basically going to be the only thing that you could potentially impact that. So the cards that he
posts, I would also argue it is the one sub that I'd be the most petrified of not being able to make an impact of. So if I'm going to look for 4 subs, I don't want the surface to be the lowest one, personally. Now, I'm looking at the card right now. The surface literally got a 2.5. Yeah. It looks like someone smeared lotion all over the front of it. Not knowing anything else about this card and not having it in hand, I like to believe I can probably clean this card up a little bit.
Exactly. So that was exactly his question, and his point in Discord was, the surface is the only thing that you can't fix a corner, you can't fix an edge, and you can't fix the centering. So if you can find these really, really cheap, and maybe the person that submitted it before you had no experience in cleaning a card and getting a microfiber cloth and wiping it down, and especially anything with a chrome surface, you have to look before you buy. If you see deep scratches, scuffs, indents, stuff like that, you're not going to be able to fix that. But if it's smudged or dust, dirt, fingerprints, whatever it is, those things you may be able to wipe off. And if you're going to take a shot on some of that stuff, it's potentially worth it. Otherwise, you're buying a coaster. That's all it's going to be.
Right. So that's why this surface is so low a grade. I feel like the only thing I can do is make it a little better. But if that surface came in at, first of all, if that surface came in at a 5 or 6, for example, there's less likelihood there could be something I could do to fix it, in my opinion. And if it came in at a 5 or 6, that grade's much higher, and you're not buying it anyway because it goes for much more than the 3.5 probably went for.
Yeah.
So no, but I do like that. I think there is a little bit of a method to what do you look for there. Like for example, you and I were talking earlier. We know PSA is a little more lenient on centering. So if I'm looking for one of these, well, all the companies with subgrades, I'm looking at maybe a little bit lower of a centering grade with higher everywhere else to crack and send to PSA. I sent you that tweet earlier. I found it's a little bit older, but someone was cracking, HGA 9s and got back 10s on them.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way to go. Is find a little bit lower of a setting grade where naked eye it still looks okay. You can see it might be 60-40, and PSA may let it slide. And if you get that half grade bump when they're doing their sub rounding, they're averaging the scores. That could mean the difference, a huge difference between what you bought and what they might slab it.
And that once again brings back into play the whole PSA lowering prices and raw and PSA. Raw and PSA 9s are pretty even right now as far as cost, especially on anything that's higher end. So the lower that PSA price comes down, the less risk that you have. So if you're going to buy an HGA 9 and submit it, and if you get the 9, the hope is that you'll be able to get your money out, and not, wind up upside down. And if it's the grading fee, then it just becomes a numbers game. You buy and you hit an occasional home run that'll make up for a couple of break evens or small losses.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're going to lose, right? I mean, you can't win every single time. I don't think.
No. No. I mean, you're never going to win every single time. If it was that
again, go ahead.
If it was that easy, everybody would do it.
And going back to the whole subjectivity thing, I mean, there's just you're going to have some L's just because someone disagrees with what you saw and what they saw.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think that's a good discussion to have, and we should have that discussion further. If you're looking to crack slabs, I think there is a little bit of a method to the subs there.
Yeah, and
there's probably a couple different ways, a couple different paths to get where you want to go.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that next week. We'll put some stuff together and talk about grading. I think really the way that things are right now with prices going down, at least for the next probably few months, as we talked about, your options are buying raw and or buying graded and cracking and resubmitting to a different grading company, a la PSA or BGS in certain cases, to profit. So we can talk about that next week. We'll make that main event, what to look for when evaluating cards for grading, and then also, just giving you more insight into the numbers. So if you are going to buy something raw and submit it to a grading company, how much more you need to make if you're buying raw and buying raw grading and buying on eBay and selling on eBay. I think it's going to be more than you think. So you really have to make sure you know your numbers before you think that it's a slam dunk profit. Anything else?
I'm doing the average in my head on a 9.5, a 9.5, a 9, and a 2.5. Obviously, the average of those four is in a 3.5. So once you get into that lower scale where one number gets absurdly destroyed, what logic or what algorithm do they use to assign the final value? Because you're looking at 2 9.5s is what, 19? 9 is 28. So you're looking at 30.5 divided by 4. That's what, 7 and change?
7 and change, yeah.
Right. So I get it that they didn't assign this card a 7.5 or 7 because it got such a low grade. So my thought is on this: say I do clean that lotion off the card and I get a 5 out of it. How much are we getting? I mean, how much am I getting in a bump on this grade? Because I can't accurately say. I can't just put a 5, and make my 30 now, my 30.5, add 5 to it, divide by 4. I mean, that's not how they did it here. I actually don't know the answer to this. I'm gonna have to look up to see if one category just gets destroyed. How they assign a grade.
I am not 100% sure. And then the other question is, I mean, the specific card that he's looking, that we're looking at is in the BGS slab now. I mean, are you really gonna spend, even if it goes down to $100, you're gonna spend the $100 on getting it graded? It's a risk, so it just depends on the value of the card and, all these other things. And on that note, we have gone past our allotted time for this week. We're already over an hour. So,
really?
anything else you'd like to enlighten these fine folks with today?
No.
All
No,
right.
but we'll save some HGA banter for next week, I think.
And for my non-baseball fans out there, I apologize for the lengthy baseball segment from today.
Lengthy? I made that short.
All right, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Once again, any questions, comments, send us an email, info@sportscardadvantage.com. Also email us if you have a set or if you want to join us in Discord. And then Instagram, Twitter, SportsCardADVTG. Jump on board. Some good stuff going on. And hopefully everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. And that's it. We'll see you guys next week.